What is up, guys? This is Before the Pitch. We're talking about Carlos Beltran today and the Astros cheating scandal, as well as the Red Sox a little bit. So let's get started. Beltran, where do I stand on this? Well, I don't think he should have been fired in the first place. There wasn't much evidence, at least presented in the MLB report, that should have really required him to step down as the manager. I believe the Mets could have stood there and said, hey, we stand by our manager, we support our manager, and Carlos Beltran will be our manager for the 2020 season and see where the chips fall from there. Let him sit out there, face the media, be available to answer any and all questions from the new evidence presented in the MLB case. Now, let's get into that a little bit. He was named as a group of players that helped improve, not design, improve the system that was already in place and help better decode systems. So now what does that mean? It means that he wasn't the only one there, so I don't understand why he's being the only one punished in this situation. And if that's the case, he wasn't the architect as it's being portrayed elsewhere. Now, from there, where do we go? We start talking about these buzzers and whatnot for the Astros. These buzzers, come on, what is this? This is violating rules set in 2017, set stricter rules against them in 2019, and they're still using them. Thankfully, the Washington Nationals won the World Series. Otherwise, we'd be having a whole different conversation right now. The Nationals beat the Astros with or without these buzzers. And we're not talking about two World Series in question. We're talking about holding the integrity of the game, at least in the past season. As long as nothing comes out within the Nationals organization, and so far there doesn't seem to be any connections there. Alex Cora, the guy's going to get a long ban, probably 2 years, if not potentially a lifetime ban, depending on how deep this goes with the Red Sox. We don't really know anything at this moment, but we'll see how that progresses. So let's get back to the Mets, though. What does this all mean for them? It means that they need to find a new manager for this coming season, and it can't be a rookie manager again. It needs to be someone with experience, whether it's in the organization or outside the organization. It needs to be a been there, done that kind of guy. Now, you can bring up, Ron Washington. You can bring up Dusty Baker. You can bring up Buck Showalter, all who I truly think would be wonderful candidates for the Mets job. But there's also internal candidates such as Luis Rojas, and the Mets bench coach, who could step into the role right away. Luis Rojas, I think, is probably the little bit more friendly name and might be the most interesting name internally from the organization. He knows the players. He's worked with a lot of these guys coming through the minor leagues, and considering that the Mets are so homegrown for the most part, it would stand as the best option internally. So with that said, we need to look internally for the Mets organization. It's not going to be Terry Collins. I think it needs to be within the organization, because you can't be trying to reset your plan for spring training and the plans that you've already set for these players for spring training less than a month out. So it needs to be internal, I believe. I think Rojas would probably be your best option, and honestly, in a way, this could be a blessing disguised for the Mets if he comes out and becomes a phenomenal manager. Now, we could also end up with someone like Buck Showalter, who has a plethora of experience, and something that you really can't deny is an effective major league managing career. Wouldn't be upset about that, but it is a shame that we lose Carlos Beltran. I truly do believe he is a good guy, but he made some terrible decisions in Houston. He always has been a good Met, and unfortunately, this is what we have to sit with and find a new manager once again. And we're having the same conversation we had 3 months ago. Now, Brodie Van Wagenen and Jeff Wilpon bungled this entire thing when it came to the media, because they sat there and they said, I don't know, it was him. Well, your job was to know. That's it. Your job was to know, and frankly, the sooner the Wilpons sell the team, the better, in my opinion. And we're just going to keep harping on who internally can be the Mets' next manager. I believe it should be Luis Rojas. I think he's the best candidate. I think he understands the players the best. And frankly, all I've heard is good things about him from players. That's a positive, and I think they need to take that into next season with someone that the players are comfortable around and can truly trust and have trust in the past. I think this is important right now, vitally important to have trust within your organization. I don't think they should do something like Terry Collins or David Wright's name's been thrown out there, even though we know he's not going to be a manager. He doesn't want to be a manager, at least right now. And Terry Collins, frankly, I love Terry, but you know what? We've been there and done that with Terry. We need new. We need fresh. We need a different outlook. And that's why Beltran was hired in the first place. But now you're sitting here with a whole bunch of trust issues that you just can't move forward with. So with that said, my apologies. With that said, the Mets are going to step into a new future of manager with hopefully some optimism and a bright side looking out. So I've been Before the Pitch, and we'll talk to you a little later.